But Salt is a CIA officer and highly respected by society, including her officer, Ted Winter. Out of the blue, a Russian security agency walks into their offices and offers a vital piece of information. The CM of Russia will be assassinated during his forthcoming visit to New York City to attend the funerals of the recently deceased US Vice CM. The name of the assassin, Evelyn Salt, cared about the safety of her Woody, who she cannot contact. She goes on the run. Winter refuses to accept that she is a mole or a double officer, but her actions begin to raise doubts. Just whose is Evelyn Salt and what is she planning? Winter refuses to accept that she is a mole or a double officer, but her actions begin to raise doubts. Just whose is Evelyn Salt and what is she planning?
A Russian calling himself Orlo and claiming to be FSB walks into undercover CIA agency in Washington, D.C. wanting to fail. He specs that he has information on a Russian sleeper cell, whose members were treated since they were a child. He specs that he has information on a Russian sleeper cell, whose members were treated since they were a child. Their goal is to infiltrate the American system by being one of them. Ultimately with the mission of bringing down the United States starting on a specific day, Code Day X, which will start with the agency of the current Russian president in New York City at the upcoming funeral of the American Vice CM. The CIA officer redeems Orlo a crackpot until he names the agent tasked with killing the Russian CM Evelyn Salt. The importance of this last piece of information is that Evelyn Salt is the CIA operative currently in the room with him as his CIA officer, her name which he does and should not know in the current context. Daryl Peabody with CIA Counterintelligences.
They who may be trying to help or stop Evelyn, depending if she is truly part of the cell.
There may be others in the Russian cell in positions of American authority who may be part of the plot if Orlov's story in the general sense is to be believed. There may be others in the Russian cell in positions of American authority who may be part of the plot if Orlov's story in the general sense is to be believed. The longer Evelyn is on the run, the more she looks guilty to the American authorities pursuing her. Although helping Peabody and his team try to capture Evelyn, Ted Winter, her CIA colleague, helped negotiate her release from North Korean captivity 2 years earlier when she was in special ops in the field, that captivity which included torture. Who she believes has been targeted as part of the Russian plot against her. Beyond love, her devotion to Mike is largely because Hess, before knowing of her work as a CIA agent, denying all accusations, decides instead to make a run for him. She states all in an effort to save her would-be German arachnologist Mike Krauss,
who is monitoring the interrogations officer in agency, feels his needs to question Evelyn before she leaves the office as a matter of proper protocol.
Ted does not believe she is a Russian spy agency, but the secret agent Peabody orders his officers to capture Salt dead or alive.
2 years ago, the CIA field officer Evelyn Salt is captured in North Korea and tortured her.
Her beloved would-be and entomologist Mike Krauss presses the U.S. government to make a swap and bring Salt back to home.
On the present days, the highly efficient Salt performs administrative work with her boss Ted Winter. When a Russian defector turns himself into CIA,
Salt is assigned to interrogate him. Out of the blue, the man accuses Salt of being a Russian officer in charge of killing the CM of Russia during his visit to New York to attend the funeral of the American Vice CM. Salt claims that she is innocent and asks Ted to call her would-be, but she is not successful in her attempt. Salt asks Ted to give protection to her would-be, but she decides to flee to seek out Mike.